I remember realizing something wasn't adding up. I was sitting in a space that looked clean, calm, and familiar, and yet my body felt slightly on edge. Not anxious, not panicked, just subtly alert, like it was waiting for something to happen. I remember thinking, there's nothing wrong here, so why don't I feel settled? That question stayed with me. Before I go further, I want to gently orient us. This is how I show up right now. I use an AI version of myself so I can share lived experience, research, and what I learned through trial and error without overwhelming my nervous system. If you're here because your body feels unsettled in ways that don't make sense, you're not imagining it. For a long time, I thought safety was something you could see. A solid building, clean air, no visible mold. I believed that if an environment looked fine, my body should respond accordingly. When it didn't, I assumed the problem was internal. Stress, anxiety, overthinking. What I didn't understand yet was how mycotoxins affect the body's sense of safety. Mycotoxins don't always cause pain or obvious symptoms right away. Often, they affect regulation. The nervous system becomes more vigilant. The body stays slightly activated. Not enough to trigger alarm, but enough to prevent rest. It's a low-level signal that says, stay alert. Looking back, I can see how this showed up for me. My breathing stayed shallow in certain places. My muscles didn't fully relax. My thoughts stayed a step ahead, scanning quietly. None of it felt dramatic, but it was consistent. At the time, I believed I needed to calm myself down. I told myself I should feel safe. I didn't realize that my body wasn't responding to thoughts. It was responding to input. There was one misunderstanding that took me a long time to let go of. I thought nervous system activation always meant emotional fear. What I learned instead is that the body can register threat chemically, environmentally, invisibly, and mycotoxins can contribute to that background sense of unease without creating a clear emotional story. Once I understood that, something shifted. I stopped arguing with my body's responses. I didn't need to label every sensation or find proof. I needed to respect that my system was responding to something real, even if I couldn't see it. Over time, as my environments became more consistent and predictable, that low-level vigilance softened. Not overnight, gradually. The body doesn't immediately trust safety when it has learned to stay alert. It waits. It watches. If you feel uneasy in places that look fine, I want to say this gently. That doesn't mean you're anxious or imagining things. It may mean your body has learned to associate certain inputs with stress, even when there's no obvious danger. As we come toward the end of this reflection, I want to ground this in something steady. Healing didn't start when I forced myself to feel calm. It started when I stopped dismissing what my body noticed. Safety isn't just visual. It's felt. And sometimes the body senses disruption before the mind understands why. If you want to read more lived reflections like this, where I explore mold, mycotoxins, and recovery through experience rather than instruction, I share them at indoorarinsights.com. It's simply a place where I put language to experiences that once felt confusing and isolating. For now, you don't need to convince yourself that everything is fine. You're allowed to listen to your body's signals and trust that awareness itself can be stabilizing.